Hey there, I'm Jordan Armstrong, and I'm currently an animated figure. Why, you may be asking yourself. Well, I'm doing a voiceover for a documentary project called Hear Me 101. We were chosen to film, edit, and interview students, teachers, and important figures of McKeesport to hear what they have to say about the current technology in education.
I didn't like getting up at 6 o'clock to catch a bus at 6:30 to get to school at 7 o'clock to walk around halls for 30 minutes until homeroom started.
We were really taught the basics, and you walked out with the basics. Now, it's not so much. You know, they let you kind of do a lot of stuff, but do you have the basics?
My favorite teacher when I was in school was a history teacher, and he would walk in the room, slam the door, and start talking, and he wouldn't shut his mouth until the moment the bell rang and you left. And that was the way we had to do things. And some people did very well with it, and a lot of people couldn't follow it, had no clue what he said. So I think things had to change, you know.
For the majority of what I went through in school, I would say that I wasn't nearly as prepared as I wish I was my freshman year of college.
People who are just going forth into standard academic regions, I feel like it adequately prepares them. But for people like you guys who are going on to technology-based, I don't think it adequately prepares you guys at all.
I think people think it's a cure-all, especially for students who don't want to go to school, and say, well, I can just stay home and do it. If you're not disciplined enough to get up and go to school every day, you're not going to be disciplined enough to sit down and to go work through an entire lesson on the computer.
Well, I do teach a cyber class here, and a lot depends on the student themselves. If they're highly motivated and wanting to learn the material, they can do very well. On the other hand, if they're not really highly motivated and really not interested in what's being presented, some of my students have difficulty completing the exercise because there's no one there really to help them, no one there to motivate them to do their best work.
It all depends on the family. Because I mean, some people argue that people that come from like single parent homes, they won't do as well with school. And I think that's crap because my mother, you know, I was just me and my mom when I was growing up. And like I said, I had A's, B's, some C's all through school. I'm better when I have someone who knows what they're doing teaching me what to do. Like I've tried online classes and I don't do bad at them, but I don't do nearly as well as when I have a teacher in front of me showing me exactly what I should be doing. It depends on if the parents are willing to help their child succeed in whatever they want to do.
When our parents were in high school and our grandparents, information had moved very slowly. There's not a whole lot that happened between the 1920s and the 1950s. They came in, they read out of a book, the teacher gave notes, and that was it. Today, things move so much faster.
Well, that's the trick. You have to find ways to motivate people. Everybody has their own personality, so I don't know if there's a cookie cutter way of doing it, but I think it comes through generally. If you want to be here as a teacher, it makes it easier for students to want to be there.
I try to encourage students to be outgoing, to be an advocate for themselves, and to be willing to stand up for their work and to have a good work ethic. You know, when you turn in something, you know, it's representing you, so it's all out there alone. You know, when you put your name on it, you're not there to defend it.
If they kind of set high school up where, like college, where a kid had to come in and take a look, you know, at that, take a serious look at that course booklet between their parent, the guidance counselor, and the kid, and say, I really want to do this, or I really want to try that. And then the administration and that make sure that can happen. And the teachers really bring that home. I think it could work again.
What I'd say is if you know what you want to do in life, they should allow you to be able to take that career path. If you want to be an auto mechanic or a building construction worker, you shouldn't be forced to take English or science or math or history, anything that's irrelevant to what you're learning. You should be able to maybe take, if you do take a math, you should be able to take like business math or something.
I'd like them to have more current technology. I'd like them to not have as much of a standardized regime for you guys, like come into school, you have this class, you have this class. I'd like there to be more variety throughout you guys' days.
It's changed dramatically. I mean, one of the things as a teacher, you know, with the smart boards, with the internet, making use of all the information that's available online, greatly gives us the ability to enhance teaching and lesson planning.
It was helping at the beginning. Then we have some old laptops and things like that, so I was finding it was hard to get assignments done. I'd have to take it home due to crappy technology.
I think technology has made a huge leap in high school alone. The thing that we have to look at it though is it's a double-edged sword. You know, technology's good on the learning side. Technology's good in that you can access more information and do more things as a student. But then there's the other side there's games and a lot of distractors that's available through technology.
Well, I know you guys have a lot more focus on more current technologies, but I still don't think it's, at least here, at the same level that it is in the real world.
I think it's changed it a lot, and not all of it's bad. I think we just have to control what we allow in, because it can be distracting, it can be problematic. You know, if you have maybe you know, there's a fight in one end of the building and you have students texting, hey, there's a fight, cafeteria, come on down. That can be a problem. So I think that we just have to, we got to be willing to control it, and not only for students but for staff.
Technology is tools. It's not just the computer. It's not this big thing here. It's tools. It's modern day tools. So the more that we can use technology, the more kids and students have the opportunity to really grow.
Kids love technology. Adults love technology. We all love bells and whistles and buttons and things that flash. And it can really, really add to a class. It can also overpower things. We can just put pretty things on the screen and see if people will stare at them. I think it has helped. I think it's an easier way to break down information, to access information. A lot of the stuff I find for my class, I pull up online.
I think absolutely it's relevant. It provides the foundation for the rest of your education or whatever you want to do when you get out of here. The more time you put in to the detailed things in high school, the better off you'll be. Whenever you get to college, you have the groundwork set, a firm foundation in order to be successful there. If you wish to go into the workforce, the interpersonal relationships that you've built and the information that you've learned, math, science, for whatever field you choose to go into, I think you can't put a price on it.
I think it's still relevant, but I think we need to make changes. I think we need to focus a lot more on skill sets.
Honestly, your 10th grade year, I believe that should be the cutoff. If you know what you want to do, that should be the year that you pick your career path, just to give you some time to think about life.
There's going to be no substitute for sitting in English class and math class, you know. But since when doesn't math count?
High school is still very relevant. Again, it sets the foundation for future learning, and if the student comes away from high school with a lifelong desire to learn, he's going to be successful, either in college, high school, vocational, or on-the-job training, or armed services.
I think that school is still necessary for every person of your age. However, I think it needs to be structured a lot differently for a changing generation.
It is 100% relative. I do not think American teenagers have the ability, nor do they have the knowledge to teach themselves the skills that they need to succeed in the real world.
High school is a place where you learn to be an adult. You go from being a kid and you learn the things, the good things and the bad things that you're going to have to deal with being an adult. And it's a place where hopefully you learn to start dealing with some of those adult things. It's a nice transition between being the little kid in elementary school with a paper hat on and being the person that has to wake up and go to a job with a boss that's angry at you. It's not necessarily important to learn information that a teacher is teaching you. It's more important to learn how to learn.